Ready? We're in Proverbs 20 today, and I want to look at verse 5. It says, "The purpose in a man's heart is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out." Have you ever been in water so deep you could not see the bottom? If you've been out in a boat, you probably have. Even if you walk out to the end of a pier, you may get to the point where you really can't see what's down there. And Proverbs says, "Our hearts are like deep water." It takes real work to see what's at the bottom of our hearts. But it says, "A man of understanding will draw it out." This reminds me of this book Annie and I have read, and that has been really helpful to us. It's called How People Change. It's a book I would recommend that talks all about drawing out what's in our hearts. I was just looking at a section where he has 34 questions that are meant to spur some thinking, like, what do you love? What do you want? What do you seek? What do you fear? What do you talk about? How do you spend your time? What are your fantasies? What do you daydream about? What are your idols or false gods? In what do you place your trust or set your hopes? These kinds of questions help us draw out the purposes of our hearts, and that's important work. You could read a book, you could talk with somebody, but look for a person of understanding to help you draw out what's deep in your heart. The author, Tripp, says these kinds of questions can help you think more clearly and deeply about why you do the things you do. They can give you a better idea of which things typically morph from good to God in your life. These discoveries are a blessing because they help you to see how truly lavish the grace of God is. I think there's real truth to that. And there's real wisdom to finding a person of understanding who can help us draw out the purposes of our hearts. They're not easy to see, like deep water, but we can plumb the depths. We can know what makes us tick. And often when we get down there and see what's really going on in our hearts, we see some things that should change, ways in which we really put all of our hope in other things or love other things more than God. But like he says, we also are reminded of God's grace. He has seen it the whole time and has been patient with us, and he helps us learn to love him.